Take2 TV. Galvanizing, lyrical, soulful, captivating, entertaining. Take2 TV, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. Welcome to another episode of Take2 TV. I'm telling you, you are in for a treat this Friday night. I am in love with this couple already. So I want you to help me welcome Austin and Brea Smith. They are the founders. Well, first of all, I just love them. And when you get to know them, you're going to love them too. But they are the founders of Growing in Love. So for those of you that are watching, get a piece of paper out, make a note in your iPhone. I'm going to show you that I know that you can do that. If you're old school like me, get a pen and a piece of paper, because you're going to make some notes and you're going to want to know more about this amazing, amazing couple. So, as I said, I love you already. And I love the way that you guys live out front. Do you feel that way? Yeah, I love the way you live out front. And I was reading, Austin, that you always wanted to be a husband.
Really?
Is that true?
I don't know if I was always, but I think it's something that I thought about just because the way I grew up, seeing my dad, seeing his marriage with my parents together. They've been married for 31 years. Woo. So when you've seen that all your life, it's like it was a norm for me, right? Especially being African American.
Absolutely.
Society would want to tell us that it's not the norm, and that your father, but. I mean, that was my norm, so I was blessed to have that. Right. So it showed me like the model, kind of the blueprint of where I knew I would be going. Right. Yeah.
Isn't it funny how media, in particular print and television and other things, doesn't really focus on the successful stories. And here you are, 31 years, your mom and dad.
Yeah.
So you did think about being a husband.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So what was the youngest age that you thought, you were watching cartoons, you were eating some cereal, Captain Crunch. Oh, absolutely. You got to have Captain Crunch. I like it today. It's not good for you, but it's not good for me. But what was the actual age that you felt that way?
Realistically, probably in college, so probably in my 20s. I would say maybe around 20, 22, 23. Okay. That's when I realized, I knew that, especially in college, I knew I wanted to meet my wife in college. That was a desire of mine. Was I ready at first? No, but I knew like around, in my sophomore year maybe, that I wanted to meet my wife in college. So yeah. Okay. So Brea, Breland, what should I call you?
Brea.
Yeah. So you were eating some Captain Crunch, right? Oatmeal, Fruity Pebbles.
I do love Fruity Pebbles.
Okay.
Now that I'm pregnant, though, I didn't used to eat Fruity Pebbles.
Okay, so you were eating your cereal.
Yeah.
Did you always want to be a wife?
Yes, definitely. I grew up with both of my parents in my home as well. And so I always just saw love. Like my parents, we didn't have everything growing up, but one thing that they always had was love. Right. And I've seen my parents just go through everything, but just the grace that my mother had for my father throughout everything that he went through. I mean, the love that they exuded for each other was just amazing, and I always wanted that. So I definitely always desired to be a wife. I knew that was a part of my calling.
Wow. So how old were you when you thought, I just want to be a wife one day?
Playing with Barbies. At the age of probably like 7. That was always a fairy tale for me. Not like the wedding or anything, but just being in love. Like that unconditional love, I always wanted that. And I didn't know what all it meant to be a wife at that age, but I just knew I wanted that. So.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, one of the things I heard from both of you is what you saw in your parents. So, you know, a lot of times we as adults don't realize what the young people are getting from us. But to see love makes you want love. So, Brea, when you met Austin at Winthrop, tell me about that. And when you met him, right? So we're gonna act it out a little bit.
Yeah.
You were in what, student union? You were walking down the campus. When did you see Austin?
So I saw Austin a lot around campus, but we would always just, you know, it was a high and by thing.
Okay.
I feel like I was always in a relationship. And you were in a relationship a lot of the times too, during college. So when we met each other, we really didn't see each other like that, in that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So high, by, high.
Yeah.
On campus. Dun, 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 dun. When did you think this was a potential husband? When did those fireworks go off? When did you say, he could be it?
I would probably say, even the first time I met Austin, I could definitely see potential. When it was not our first time meeting, but our first date. We went to the lake, and he just approached me in a way that I had never been approached before.
Okay.
He asked me so many questions. I thought it was an interview, you know?
Okay.
I knew he really wanted to get to know me. I mean, he just asked me what my intentions were, and he asked me questions that were so direct that it was like as if he knew that I was his wife already.
Okay.
So yeah, I just
So
felt
can I
that
be
was very
nosy
different.
for just a
Yes.
minute? So give me 2 questions that he asked you. Let me live vicariously.
Yeah. I know the one thing that he asked me was, did I see him as a husband?
This is on the first date?
First date.
First date.
Where do we see if this going?
You see this?
Whoa.
It was like, you know, if we're dating, either we're gonna break up or we're gonna get married, you know. So
Okay.
where do you see this going? And I'm like,
Okay.
well, listen, this is our first conversation. This is a lot.
Okay. Now, what about Brea
Yeah.
made you, Austin, decide I want to ask her these questions?
For me, I was at a place where I was tired of meaningless relationships and just to dating people, just to date them. I figured at the age I was at and where I wanted to go, I wasn't really getting anywhere. And the people, you can really be compatible with anybody. You can just take anything, but for me, it wasn't. I didn't want to settle anymore. When it came,
Hashtag don't settle.
don't settle.
Don't settle.
Because a lot of people do. I think
A lot of people do, right?
a lot of people, you know,
Especially when you get to a certain age and you think I should be married, right?
Yeah. And some people, you know, they ready to just jump in a relationship than be lonely. And
In the relationship because they didn't choose wisely.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so for me, she was somebody, I really admired her relationship with God, but of course, sometimes people use that, especially guys, they'll use that as like it's like a new pickup line almost, like, oh, you love God, so that's really attractive. But one thing about that is after a certain period, that's gonna fade away.
Fades away. Right.
Especially if it's not your relationship.
Right. Right.
So for me, I admired her relationship with God, but also her qualities as far as she had class. Like, she wasn't one of those women that, you know, had her body out everywhere. She wasn't one of those girls who, you know, was just everywhere on campus with everybody.
Wow.
It was stuff like that. She was somebody I could see that I could take home to my mom. Someone, and then also just through the conversation, just someone who, when we were talking and just the questions were going, I'm like, okay, that's good. Okay, cool. And you're not expecting someone perfect, but my expectation was someone who could grow with me.
Right.
And also who could see the potential in me that maybe I couldn't see in myself.
Right.
And those are some of those things that Brea did. or she checked off for me. So.
Yeah, that is a show in itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because looking at social media, and oh, by the way, not just in your age group is the new pickup line, "Do you love God?" Just,
right.
Just information. I don't know. You might not.
Everybody using it.
Yeah, everybody.
Listen,
let me just tell you.
It's a good one.
But it's a show in and of itself, and so we may have to do another show after the baby is born, because there's a whole lot in what you just said. Because I think young people are confused at times with social media and how to really decide what am I looking for, right? Does marriage play into it, and how do I present myself? How do I position myself to be a wife or a husband, right?
Absolutely.
And so to hear a young man say, she wasn't all over the campus, she wasn't just hanging her body out, when social media would tell you something different. Would you agree with that, both of you?
Absolutely. I think the thing is with stuff like that, the way you entice somebody is the way you're gonna have to keep them.
Yeah.
So because she didn't use her body to her advantage to say, this is me and this is what you should go after, it wasn't anything about that, and that's why it wasn't just another relationship for us. That's not the only factor, but I think a lot of people have to fight to keep a relationship because sometimes the way they enter, because one way you enter a season is the way, or you begin it is the way it can usually last sometimes. So
right.
I think it's important how you go about entering things, but also just how you do things as well. And I think that's just life, period.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, I agree with that. So Brea, I'm sure that on the campus they had young women that were carrying themselves all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
What gave you the internal fortitude to stick to who you are and who you wanted to present and not conform?
Yeah. I wouldn't say that I was always perfect though. I'm not perfect. And I'm so glad that Austin met me when I did, because I had a lot of growing to do. Winthrop was a place where I literally was reintroduced to myself. God reintroduced me to myself. And there was a point in time where I was one of those girls, not who was all over the place, but who really didn't know her purpose, who didn't know her worth, who didn't value herself as a woman. And I allowed men to just tell me who I was. I needed validation from them. And it came a point in time where I just got tired of it. I realized that I couldn't be fulfilled by men, that wasn't going to be something that lasted. I needed to know who I was for myself. And so around I would say my junior year, which is around the time that I met Austin, that's when I really started just digging into, God, who are you and who do you say that I am? And I think that really helped to just ground me. And when I became so secure in who I was and who God was and who God called me to be, then I was able to walk differently. And I never wanted to go back, because God graced me so much in the seasons before that I was just like, I can't do the other stuff anymore. I have to walk differently because God has shown me who I am. So I'm so thankful for those broken seasons, because it allowed me to be the woman that he was able to see, to be the wife that he saw in me. Because before that, I wasn't.
And that is so important, because there are people that will be watching, right? That may not be where you are. And that's part of the whole Take2 movement, right? Don't stop where it happened. And so people have been through, I always say they have different things in their backpack. And people have been through lots of different things. But what you're saying is, if we allow the Lord, right, that he will create a new day, create a new season, and allow us to walk in the purpose and in the path that he would have us to do. Yes. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's really, really powerful. I'm so impressed with your wisdom at such a young age. Only God could do that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Only the Lord can do that.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know that. So do you guys ever disagree?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? How does that go?
It depends. Our arguments aren't really like huge. Like we've had some, big arguments, but I gotta put us out there. One time we had an argument. I like Chick-fil-A. You like Chick-fil-A?
I do.
Chick-fil-A is blessed.
It's all that, right?
Right.
The lemonade at Chick-fil-A is going on.
Yeah. So I like the ice cream.
You like the ice cream?
With the chocolate chip cookie, though.
So I haven't had that, but the ice cream is all that. It's something about the texture.
But you gotta get the cookie, too.
Okay, well, I'll do that.
And then this is what you do.
They close at 10. I'll try to...
Into the ice cream.
Into the ice cream.
So this is what happened.
And make it happen.
Gotcha. I was in I was home, and then she was at Chick-fil-A in the drive-thru. So I was like, hey, you might pick me up ice cream and a cookie. So she was like, okay, cool. She picked it up. Long story short, I get home. When she gets home, she has the ice cream in a cone.
Okay. You wanted it in a cup?
I wanted it in a cup because I wanted to break the cookie
up. Okay.
And I had asked her, if she could get it switched out, but she's like, I already ordered it, and she doesn't like being inconvenient sometimes.
Okay.
So
she's carrying this cone home.
She's carrying the cone home.
Okay, gotcha.
She comes in, I'm excited to eat, and then I come in, or she comes in, and I just see it on the cone. I'm like, I'm just kind of, it's like a roller coaster. You at the top of the peak, and then Did you have a bowl at home? I had a bowl, but this is the thing though. The ice cream is only this big.
Okay.
And then we that was like one of our silly arguments,
Okay.
So that sounds really silly now, but
Y'all, he was really mad about this ice cream.
I really was mad.
And you were thinking, get a bowl.
Yeah, I was like, listen, we have bowls and spoons, and you can just break the cookie up and put it in there.
And put a little bit of the cone in there.
But see, it's about the whole experience.
It's the experience.
So.
I'm going to be at Chick-fil-A today at the drive-thru.
Oh, yes.
The cookie. No more am I doing just cones.
You can't.
Okay.
You can't.
So, power couple. Do you see yourselves as a spiritual power couple?
Definitely. I think when God puts two people together, like the way that he put us together, it has to be powerful. Especially when two or three are gathered, listen, he is in the midst.
He is in the midst.
So, yeah.
So how long from the interview, the first date interview, before the proposal?
So that interview was in October of 2013.
13.
We started dating officially December 16, 2013.
Okay.
I proposed to her January 2nd, 2017.
16.
Was it 16? No, 17. Because we were dating in December. Wait, never mind. Was it 16?
You proposed 2016.
Right,
yeah.
16. Okay, yeah.
The woman always knows. Just go with it.
I'm usually good with my dates.
Okay. So 16.
Mm-hmm.
Outstanding.
And then we got married June 25th.
Yeah.
2016. So what's the inspiration behind Growing in Love? I don't want to steal your thunder, but I watched a number of your YouTubes. Mm-hmm. So take us through Growing in Love, because I really want the audience to experience it. Yeah. And it really is Growing in Love, the Smiths, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I didn't say it properly.
Oh, that's cool.
Help us out. Tell me why people should tune in, and what was your inspiration?
Growing in Love, when we were thinking about doing a YouTube channel, we were like, okay, well, what do we name it? We always saw, I love YouTube, but we always saw Christian couples on YouTube, but a lot of them didn't have our story. Mm-hmm. And our story was very, it was a different one from a lot of other Christian couples.
Right.
We weren't the couple who waited to kiss each other before marriage. Okay. We had our downfalls. So when we thought about it, we were like, listen, our marriage talks about the testament of grace. It just talks about God. It's very transparent. And we're like growing in love, because in our marriage, we want to continuously be growing in God. We want to be continuously growing in love with each other. We never want to stop.
Right.
So we were like, this is going to be the perfect title, Growing in Love, because that's something that we're always going to be doing.
It sounds like an own show. Let me just put that out.
Put it out there.
I mean, Oprah, Growing in Love, The Smiths. I don't know. I see it on Saturday night, 8 o'clock.
I love
Come on,
it.
I
What do you
receive
think?
it.
I agree.
So if you get that, okay, I need ice cream and a cookie.
I'll have it on the plane for you.
Okay, just saying. Just saying.
Deal.
So, admittedly, you married young, right? And I guess, you know, we could debate young or not. But what do you see as the benefit?
For me, I would say, so I was 24, she was 23. For me, it was, I think it just depends on the situation and the people. Everybody can't handle being married young, because for us, what was the benefit was our mindset going into marriage was we knew where we were trying to go. Like even when we were dating, especially once we truly committed to honoring God with our relationship, our mindset was never like me and you, it was us. For instance, I got my car towed one time on campus, and immediately she was like, I got you. Like it was like $165, and she just got paid, and she's like, don't worry about it, I got you. It was small stuff like that. She, and
that campus towing thing.
Yes.
What? I think they just look for somebody to tow.
Yeah. So,
but anyway, she had you.
Yeah, it was stuff like that.
And it's traumatic, right? So that 163 was a help.
Especially in college.
You know, in college, you're broke.
Right.
You are broke. You were broke.
But
absolutely.
Even beyond stuff like that, I think being married young, we were able to learn lessons now that allows us to realize that our marriage wasn't just for us, it's for the people after us and the people that we're connected to. Legacy.
Yes.
We really believe that.
That's
I know
big.
for Brea, she's called to help women. I believe I have a calling to help men as well. To do that together, whether it be singles, whether it be couples, college students. That's what we know our ministry is. So if God can use our story at a young age to help other people, and to do it through one of the most powerful, resilient forces, which is marriage.
Right.
And we're willing to allow Him to do it. That's the thing. You have to be willing.
That's right.
It's just like, why not? Like, why not? So it's been nothing but a blessing. Some people thought maybe should wait, take some time, like really think about it. There's nothing to think about, because, you know, there's sometimes guys will wait 4 or 5 years. You'll buy a house with somebody, you'll have kids, and you'll hold her hostage and won't marry her for another 7 years.
Wow, that's a whole nother show.
Right.
You know what? I think we might have to do a week.
Listen.
But the real thing is, so many people, young and older, think that compromising, back in the day, people used to say, you get the cow and, you got all of that. What's the point of marrying? But I want to ask you something. So I'm a mother of a son and a daughter.
Okay.
So let me just go here for just a second. So you sit down with your mother and you say you want to get married.
My mom?
Your mother. So was she like fabulous?
I think she knew that Brea was going to be my wife.
Okay. Okay.
So our wedding wasn't the traditional wedding.
No, I want to know, when you sat her down and you said, Mom, I want to get married.
Oh,
she said, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, my mom, I think with parents and children, there comes a point where you'll always be their parent, but at the end of the day, as they grow in age and they go into adulthood, you realize that they have to make a decision
for themselves. Make their own choices. Okay.
So,
all right. I like it. I like it. Now, you sat down with your dad.
Oh, yeah.
And you said, I'm ready. Austin has now asked me to get married, and I'm ready to go. How did that go? Dad said, wow, that is fabulous.
Not exactly. So, Austin actually asked my parents for my hand in marriage when I was in college.
Okay.
And they actually said, yeah, but just not right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my dad always had this thing where it was like, you're very young, like you haven't even traveled yet, you need to see the world and all these other things. And I'm like, why can't we see it together?
Right.
And so that was my whole thing. I was like, listen, I love this man. This is a God ordained thing.
Okay.
We're going to do this together. But yeah, it was a little scary for him at first, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now we have the expected one.
Yeah.
Do we know if it's a boy or girl?
It's a boy.
It is a boy.
It's a boy.
The little prince.
Yes, ma'am.
The little prince is due in November. How do you think having a child is going to add, and what do you think the changes will be to your marriage?
I think definitely just adjusting. We've heard so many stories about how everything changes. And I guess that could scare us in a way, but I think it's just made us more excited about the challenges that comes with having a child, but also how it's just going to help us to grow.
Yeah.
That's the thing with our marriage.
Together.
So, just growing with this baby, growing with God, figuring out new ways to spend time with each other.
Right.
Just making it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, because this is the Take2 audience, and we really, really encourage people not to stop where it happened, and there's lots of reasons and things that happen in people's lives where they just think, you know what, I don't want to press on. Was there ever a time in either of your lives where you felt like this is too hard, I don't want to press forward, I just want to stop right here?
With the marriage?
Just in your life.
Oh, life? Oh, absolutely. I think we've all gotten to a place where you allow what is perceived in front of you to become your reality when it actually might not even be that bad.
Right.
But you do have situations in life where it really is bad and you're just like, man, I don't know about this. But one thing I can say now is even when you don't see it in the moment, God has a way of allowing you to get through things, and then He'll show you why you had to go through
that
by sending somebody
path.
Yeah, by sending somebody who's going through the exact same thing, and because you made it, now you have the instructions or the testimony. Because sometimes
I call it the curriculum.
The curriculum, I like that.
Okay,
I like
you
that.
can have that for free.
Thank you.
Okay, go.
But it's important, especially in the age where people are stopping. They're not believing it as much anymore.
Right.
So we live in a generation where people want to see it, but your life is proof. If you allow it to be proof, if you allow yourself to not quit, and you have to realize that it's not about you, and you can't do it by yourself.
Right.
When you try to do it by yourself, I think you rob God of opportunity to get glory out of what you're going through. So
Absolutely. What about you?
Yeah, I think there's been so many times, and especially in college, that's when I really had to make the relationship with God my relationship with God. And I'm so thankful for every broken season because it showed me and revealed to me who God really was.
Right.
They said that you can't say that God is a healer if you've never been sick.
That's right.
So you can't say that God is a provider if you've never had Him provide for everything.
Right.
So I'm just so thankful that God really showed me who He was, because I could have been saying, I know God, but now I can say, no, I know God.
Right.
I know the type of God I serve because of everything that He's brought me through, because I've been at places where I've been at rock bottom and realized that God, you are that rock.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah, definitely. There's a season for everything.
That's right.
And God makes everything beautiful in His timing. You just have to keep going. I remember reading in Ecclesiastes when it talks about there's a time to kill, there's a time to sow, there's a time to grow. And if you just keep reading, you just keep turning those pages, it says, but God makes everything beautiful in His timing.
Yes.
So I would just say keep going.
Yes.
I mean,
one step. How do you know? One of the things we talk a lot about is identifying your purpose, right? And earlier in the show, you talked about knowing that your ministry is men your ministry is women, and together your ministry is couples, marriage, and so on. How do you know? How are you sure about your call?
I think for me, recently, it's through the things that God has graced me through when it comes to deliverance, specifically with lust. There's an epidemic, especially in the church, with people who serve in church with pornography, lust, and we don't talk about those topics because everybody kind of wants to brush over them. But through my experiences with it and God's delivering hand through it, and how He's graced us through our marriage with it, when it became exposed, I saw more and more men specifically who was like, okay, I'm not the only one. And seeing that, it gave me confidence. Like, this is why I fought so hard when I was 16. This is why I fought so hard in college with this, because I wasn't just fighting, it myself. Sometimes it's you're fighting your granddaddy's demons, or you're fighting people before you. But also you're fighting for the people who are coming after you, because everybody that you realize or not, you're a door for somebody to go through. But if you don't choose to open up and allow people to see, like, if you don't allow people to see your scars, they'll never know that there's a way to be healed. You know what I'm saying? And the perfect example is Jesus. Like, Jesus died on a cross naked for us, unashamed, exposed, so that we could get the healing that we need. And us being followers of Christ, we have to be willing to expose ourselves. And not saying that we have to die for people, but we do have to die to our flesh. And die to our opinions, die to pride, and not wanting to show people like the real us instead of hiding behind a mask. And I think when you show people transparency, then it opens up a door for deliverance. It opens up a door for God to really get the glory.
Absolutely. And absolutely.
Time after time, when people, it's not just one moment. It's multiple. Like, this is why. That's why. This is why. And I think that ultimately just comes through being willing and being obedient. So What about you? How do you know that this is your call?
I think very similar to what Austin said. I just know God didn't grace me through everything that He's brought me through for me to be silent. I feel like that would be a slap in the face to God. So.
One of the things I love about your testimony is just that, your testimony. Because there are people watching, younger and older, that are sitting there thinking, what about me? This is so bad. I am dealing with pornography. I'm dealing with, lack of self-confidence. I'm dealing with these demons. And one of the things that they can see is, if you keep pressing forward, that there's life on the other side. So what I want you to do is look right at that camera, and I want you to talk to our viewers. And I just want you to briefly encourage them, particularly young people. But you know what? I'm not the young people anymore, but I'm not the old people either. I'm somewhere like halfway. I'm working with that. But for all of us, one of the things that really disturbs me in my generation is a lot of times, you don't give just due to the younger audience. But I'm a believer that you can learn from everybody.
Absolutely.
So there's all sorts of folks all over watching, all age groups. And I want you to give them some encouragement, regardless of where they are right now. I'm sitting there, they're sitting there saying, what's the use?
Okay. For me, whoever's watching this right now, you have to understand that when God spoke you to existence, He spoke a solution to a problem here on this earth. You're not here by happenstance. You're not here by accident. Even if you were told that, it was a lie straight from hell. But God has specifically orchestrated you for the time that you needed the most. So even in this situation that you find yourself in, that seems frustrating, that seems like there's no way out, there seems like there's no end to this, God will get glory out of this if you allow Him to. First thing that you have to allow Him to do first is you have to surrender. And surrendering, even when you don't feel like it, surrendering when it doesn't make sense. Once you get your hands off the table and say, God, you know what? I can't do this. It's on you. then that's when usually God has a way of showing himself mighty. And the last time I checked, God has never stopped being God. He never will stop being God. And his resume speaks for himself. Yes. So I challenge you in this moment to, whatever your situation is, whatever what you're facing right now, whether it be family, whether it be finances, whether it be with school, I challenge you to allow God to handle it for you. Yes. To take your hands off and say, you know what? This one time, God, I'm gonna see if you can show yourself mighty, and I guarantee you that he will do that for you.
Yes. Amen. Amen.
So one thing that I would say is, I know you may be feeling down, I know you may be feeling guilty, ashamed, but one thing I want you to know is that it's not about you. It's about the person who is connected to you. It's about the person who is watching you, who you may not even know right now. It's about, if you do not become obedient to what God is telling you to do, then somebody else may not be able to walk through the door that they're needing to walk through. So you have to get over yourself. You have to allow God to be greater than whatever you're going through, because he is greater. The word says that greater is he who is in me than he who is in the world. So stop feeling down about yourself, because God's grace is sufficient enough for even you. God loves you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. He has not given up on you. You are going to be okay. All you have to do is keep going. Yes. He loves you.
Yes. Wow. Powerful. You're coming back. I'll wait until the baby is here. We're going to bring the baby as well.
Nice.
But so that people can continue to stay connected to you. And we'll include it in the show so everybody can follow. But let them know how they can keep up with you, how they can see all of the information, YouTube, everything.
Yeah, so our YouTube channel is Growing in Love The Smiths. You can subscribe and follow us on there. We also have Instagram, social media. My Instagram is Austin X Gerard, that's Gerard. And my wife is
Brea Smith on Instagram. And then if you want to email us questions, you can email us at growinginlove2016@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yes. What does X stand for?
Well, it's actually Austin Times Gerard. Gerard's my middle name. That's my dad's name. So
okay, Dad. I was just wondering what the X was. In any event, we have reached the end. This has been an amazing time. I loved them before they took the sofa. I really did. I watched and read all about you sincerely. And so I want you to follow this young couple. They're powerful. Remember, every Friday night, we're right here, Eastern time. If you're in another time zone, you're going to have to figure that out. I do know Central is 7 o'clock. I'm not working with the West Coast. But you can find us at Fire Stick, Roku TV, Apple TV, WBNDTV.com, or my website, which is Take2now.net. Listen, this is a powerful show, and we really work hard to bring you guests that we find to encourage you, because that's really what this whole thing is about. So if you've got some feedback, some suggestions, please email me at Tanya, Tanya, at Take2now.net. Until next week, be blessed and have a great week.
Take2 TV. Galvanizing, lyrical, soulful, captivating, entertaining. Take2 TV. Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. 30 minutes. Real life people, real life stories, real life victories. Only on WBNDTV.com, Fire Stick, Roku TV, and Apple TV. Take2 TV.
My protector.